According to data from the Energy Savings Trust, the average UK roof collects around 85,000 litres of rainwater every single year. Almost all of it goes straight down the gutter into the storm drain and vanishes into the sewer system. 85,000 litres of clean water wasted per home, while water companies send us texts in July asking us to put our hose pipes away. When I left my corporate job, I decided to treat my semi-detached garden plot like a small country. I started with 4 barrels, expanded to 15, and today I have 17 interconnected rain barrels storing nearly 3,500 litres of off-grid water. Today, this is the master guide on how to build a connected, leak-proof rainwater system. I'm hoping you can save some of this water and stop it going down the drain. That's a cup of tea in the morning in the semi-detached garden. Before you join a single pipe, you need to pick your storage. I've tested 3 options across my plot. Which brings us to the great storage debate. Do you scatter 17 individual mismatched plastic barrels across your property? Makes your back garden look like an abandoned industrial estate. So naturally, people suggest you should upgrade to a massive 1000 litre IBC cube. Except nobody talks about the 2 hidden nightmares of IBC tank. A standard IBC tank is a literal 1 meter square cube. It doesn't tuck neatly under a realistic rustic bush or cozy up against your flower bed. It looms over your yard like a mammoth. Secondly, and infinitely worse, access. Have you ever tried moving a 1 meter square empty plastic cage with a metal surround through a standard suburban garden gate or through your house? It doesn't fit. You either have to dismantle your fence, break through a wall, bribe multiple neighbours with homegrown potatoes to help you carry it over the shed, or accept that it's permanently living wherever the delivery driver dropped it in your driveway. While the corporate water boards spend decades ignoring leaking pipes and imposing hose pipe bans, I'm standing in a suburban bottleneck managing a fleet of plastic barrels and negotiating with a giant white cube just to keep my potatoes and beans from filing for bankruptcy. The 3 options that I've been looking at is a 120 litre water barrel, something like £38 each, great for tight side passages where standard barrels won't fit. 200 litre water barrel, designed to be water barrels. I've looked at the 200 litre purpose built barrels, looking at about £50 on B&Q and stuff, but high cost per litre of water storage, but expensive if you're building a massive grid. And we've got a little hillbilly option at the end, which is a blue barrel. You have to do something to make that usable, similar to these. Blue industrial barrels, £20. Heavy duty and cheap on local marketplaces, but you have to cut the tabs, place them yourself, drill them, and make your own thread. Depends what you're doing. I've linked together loads of these barrels, and I find the blue ones are better. You can pile them closer. You have to use a drill. You have to do some DIY. Took off a nice inch off the top. If you're struggling for space, these do well. I've had the slimline 100 litre barrels. These barrels solve both problems. Here is where most DIY setups fail. If you link barrels at the top, only the first barrel fills until it overflows into the next one. I did try that initially. The bottom connecting system. I connected all 17 barrels together at the base using a heavy duty tank connector and reinforced flexible hose pipe, which is bigger than standard garden hose, to let water flow through quicker, because water finds its own level. I have installed it at a certain level, so you can see just the bubble there. If the water gets up to this point here, it will start outflowing back into the gutter and
down into the drain. So when it rains, the water will get caught around the sides and it will go through this pipe here, which then sends it into the water barrel. So when that water overflows into the water barrel, and then it goes to the bottom of the water barrel, which then in turn filters across to every barrel. The water barrel, which is the lowest, which I have set up here, if you notice I've put some lines here. There's 2 lines here and a little mark here. When the water gets to this level, it will no longer fill the barrel. It will come out of this and go down the pipe into the gutter. People I've seen install this just simply on top of the rain barrel, drain straight into that. That's not the correct way to do it. These are specifically made to allow you to in water, and when water reaches a certain point, go back out the system.
Rain entering barrel number 1 automatically balances across all 17 tanks simultaneously via gravity. So now the same level of water in every single tank. But later on, I want to be able to use a motor and pull water from everything at once, acting like a giant IBC in a way, if that makes sense. Plastic barrel threads always leak under pressure and over time. To solve this, I apply a generous ring of outdoor marine grade silicone around the rubber washer before tightening the compression nut. I add a custom drip ring to channel any minor condensation away from the timber bases. I've got a couple of wood. It's essential that all the barrels are level across the floor. So that's something to think about.
Because these plastic fittings are taking constant pressure across 17 barrels, I'm running them as a full season stress test. I'll be doing a dedicated follow-up video later in the year to show you exactly how they hold up over winter. I have thought, if these freeze over winter and expand, will these plastic fittings crack? Will I have problems? But
I actually put together a step-by-step guide, and I might link you to that because it'll show you all the details of exact fitting connectors, the diameter, the tool I used to build this. I built it because watching millions of liters of fresh rain wash down the suburban gutters while we face annual drought is total madness.
If this setup survives the summer heat wave, we aren't just saving our vegetables, we are proving that suburban self-sufficiency is 90% engineering panic and 10% actual gardening.
If one bloke in a semi-detached garden can capture close to 3,500 liters of winter rain with basic plumbing fittings, we can all take control of our own water infrastructure.
Let me know, would you prefer an IBC container? Have you got the space for it? Or are mismatched water barrels better for you?
And subscribe to catch the next stage when we tackle automated drip irrigation from these barrels. Stop letting your rain go down the drain.